Welcome to Fangtastic Origins. My name is Alucard, and I will be your host this evening as we explore the origins and major turning points of vampiric lore. A fitting focus, as I myself am part of such legends. But we'll get back to that later. For now, let us go back to the beginning. The origins of vampire belief can be traced to pre-Christian Slavic spiritualism. In these beliefs, demons and spirits were highly involved in everyday life. Some were benevolent, while others were harmful and often destructive. These beliefs also considered the soul to be imperishable. They believed that after death, the soul would leave the body and wander its neighborhood and workplace for 40 days or 40 minutes, before moving on to an eternal afterlife. Thus, pagan Slavs believed it was important to leave a window or door open in the house for the soul to pass through if it so chose. During these 40 days and 40 nights, the soul was thought to be able to re-enter its corpse. From these beliefs, though, derives the invention of the Slavic concept of a vampire. A vampire is a manifestation of an unclean spirit possessing a decomposing corpse, a corrupted spirit being, one that has suffered a violent death or improper burial. The undead creature needs the blood of the living to sustain its body's existence, and the spirit possessing the corpse is considered vengeful and jealous of said living. Slavic beliefs are not the only piece to this nail-biting puzzle. In the novel Vampires, Burial and Death by Paul Barber, the author believes that vampire lore was a result of pre-industrial society members attempting to explain the natural process of death and decomposition, which to them at the time was very difficult to understand. Anyways, please girl, please, take it away for a while. I need another drink.
Huh? Oh, right away, sir. As gases from decomposition build up in the torso of the corpse, it begins to swell, and the increased pressure forces blood to ooze from the nose and mouth. Ew.
You're breathing, please, girl.
Yes, sir. This makes the body appear rather plump and well fed, especially so in people that look pale or thin in life, and the exuding blood also gives the corpse an impression that they have recently engaged in vampiric activities. Darkening of the skin is also caused by decomposition. When a swollen, decomposed body is staked, it causes the body to bleed and force the gases to escape. This can produce groan-like sounds as the gases move past the vocal cords. After death, the skin and gums contract, exposing the roots of hair, nails, and teeth. Even teeth that were concealed in the jaw, making an illusion that these have grown.
Police girl,
Sir Integra!
what are you doing? And where is Alucard?
That is...
Went on another one of his enthusiastic walks, didn't he? I see. Why are you doing this anyways? No matter. Go on and find him and bring him back. I'll take over for now. Let's see. I suppose I should introduce myself first. I am Sir Integra Fairbrook Wingate's Hellsing of the Hellsing Organization. And you've already met one of our resident vampires, the police girl. Master! Master! Right, let's carry on then. Because of these natural effects being misinterpreted as a corpse not looking as it should, as well as rates of decomposition varying and so on, vampire hunters were led to mistakenly believe that a corpse had not decomposed or, ironically, that these were signs of continued life. There are also theories that legends of vampires were influenced by people being buried alive due to lacking medical knowledge at the time. Reports in some cases involved sounds emanating from specific coffins. When the coffin was later dug up, fingernail marks were discovered inside. In other cases, people would hit their heads, noses, and faces, and it would appear as if they had been feeding. Vampire folklore has even been associated with clusters of death from mysterious illnesses, usually within a small community. This is especially obvious in New England, where tuberculosis has been associated with the breakdown of lung tissue, which would cause blood to appear on the lips. Rabies has been linked to vampire folklore as well. Dr. Juan Gomez Alonso, a neurologist at Xeral Hospital in Vigo, Spain, examined this possibility in reports in neurology. The susceptibility to garlic and light could be due to hypersensitivity, which is a symptom of rabies. Wolves and bats, which are often associated with vampires, can be carriers of rabies. The disease can also lead to a drive to bite others, and even to a bloody frothing at the mouth. In 1985, biochemist David Dolphin proposed a link between the rare blood disorder porphyria and vampire folklore. Noting that the condition is treated by intravenous Hayam, he suggested that consumption of the large amounts of blood may result in Hayam somehow being transported across the stomach wall and into the bloodstream. Thus, vampires will merely suffer as a porphyria seeking to replace Hayam and alleviate their symptoms. The theory was rebuffed by the medical community, but still gained significant media attention and entered popular modern folklore. Finally, Alucard, get your butt back in here and do your work.
Yes, my master. Now that I've had a bite to drink, where were we? Ah, yes. Countess Bathory's long history of serial murders and brutality led to the legendary accounts of the Countess bathing in the blood of virgins to retain her youth, and subsequently also led to comparisons with Vlad III, the Impaler of Volchia, and modern nicknames of the Blood Countess and Countess Dracula. Bram Stoker's novel Dracula was part of the major turning point of what became vampire myth today, from what was once just old legends. The book, along with the inspired film, have both worked to create the modern image of a vampire. There's a grand misconception that the novel is based off of a real-life Volchia Bavoy Vlad the Impaler. However, media takes this connection as fact, despite strong arguments against it. Vlad was descended from Basarab the Great, a 14th century prince who was credited with having founded the state of Volchia, part of present-day Romania. Vlad himself was known for having a particular fondness for impaling his enemies in brutal, gruesome ways, and from his long history of brutality, he got his title as the Impaler. There is speculation that Bram Stoker derived some information, including the name Dracula, from bits of Romanian history. However, there is no solid evidence to support Count Dracula as the same figure as Vlad. Indeed, the idea for the novel was created before Stoker researched into Romanian texts, and it's argued that Stoker, in fact, knew little of the historic Vlad, except for his name Dracula. The novel has become more significant for modern readers than it was for contemporary Victorian readers, most of whom enjoyed it just as a good adventure story. It only reached its broad, iconic, legendary status later in the 20th century, when the movie version appeared. When W. M. Bernard's unauthorized adaptation of the story in the form of Nosferatu was released in 1922, Stoker's widow took offense, and during a legal battle that followed, the novel's popularity started to grow. Since the 1931 movie version was released, the book has never been out of print. The 1931 film was directed by Todd Browning and starred Bela Lugosi as Dracula. Produced by Universal, it was based on the 1924 stage play of Dracula by Hamilton Dean and John L. Balderson, which is in turn based on the novel Dracula. This film and play contributed to much of Dracula's popular iconography, much of which vastly differs from Stoker's novel. In the novel and 1922 German silent film, Dracula's appearance is repulsive, whereas Lavoisier portrays the Count as a handsome, charming nobleman. The Dean Balderston play and 1931 film also introduced the now iconic images of Dracula, bedrooms to move French doors and windows, wrapping his Satan-lined cape around them, and put more emphasis on Dracula's transforming into a bat. In the novel, though, he variously transformed into a bat, or a mist of some type, or elemental dust.
I hope you will like it.
Aren't you drinking?
I never drink. Why?
This line is original to the 1931 film. It did not appear in the Stoker novel or the original production of the play. When the play was revived on Broadway in 1977, starring Frank Langella, this line was added to the script. These films, novel, and plays all worked in conjunction to morph old myth into what is the popular iconography of the vampire today.
And with that, our tale draws to a close. The story of the vampire is never ending, always changing and twisting with each theory, giving new life to an old tale.
Indeed, it does. And so we wish you good night. Don't let the vampires bite.
Now I'm joining you in this. Yes.
Okay. And how about you go first? That doesn't mean we. Will you stop dicking around, you both? And now she has a baby up to the mic. God damn.
You know I can't put that in the credits.
I know. So I'll just say this. Thank you for watching. Okay. Okay, thank you for watching. Have a fun day, all of you. And I would go and kill all of your children later.
You are terrible, you know that?
Oh, I know, baby. I know. Thank you, baby. Thank you, baby. See, the baby knows how it is. Suki! Suki! Ah. Get out. Man, like get out, goddammit. Evil baby. I thought it was Langella. Suki, you were wrong. It's Langella. Yeah, it's Langella. Hey, I know it's Langella. Thank you, Bob. I was about to say my mind was telling me yes, but my body was telling me no. Xenover has become more significant for modern readers than when it was contemporary, the Victorian readers. Most of whom... Okay, fine. Alright. Trying to do something here. That requires silence. I'm just saying. You sounded peppy. Why the fuck did I sound peppy? What have you been doing to me, woman? What did you put in my drinks?
You sound like a peppy.
What did you put in my drink, woman?
I put nothing in your drink.
What did you put in my wine?
I put nothing in your wine. Oh shit, I think I'm recording my own voice too.
God.
Yeah.
You put sneezing salt in my... You put sneezing salt in it.
By the way, apparently I'm
And
recording
that means the baby is being for it. Hello,
yeah.
baby. You put sneezing salt in my damn...
Sneezing salt?
You put sneezing salt in my damn wine, you bastard!
Are you sure it's not like sneezing powder or something?
Nah, that's not invented yet, that's Pokemon.
Are you okay?
I was just sneezing up a storm, how do you think I feel?
Pretty good? Nice and clear? Cleared out?
Get out, get out, get out. No, baby. You don't get a right to say something. You don't. I'm sorry, baby.
Help.
Hey, don't you be sassing me. Did that baby just sass me?
Okay, let's try that again.
Because of what that happened, I just had to vagina punch somebody. I hope you know that.
Let's try that again.
Okay, but I'm just saying, that baby just made me vagina punch somebody.
Yeah.
I want you to think about that. Think about what you've done.
Alright. Enjoy your vagina.
Oh, baby, I will. Much. I am going to kill you. You said and. Here's an and there, not an in. Stop laughing. You're making me not able to talk. You're goddamn laughing.